Hello, YouTube. It's been a while. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Cheryl, and this is all about the adventures in autism with my son, Jason. And it's been a while because, for a lot of reasons. One is I've been busy trying to, I've been taking an online course, an art course, and that's taken a lot of my extra time. But also because I've been working to get Jason into a day program, getting him conditioned to a new routine and so on, and just had my hands full. Also, Jason is now kind of to the point he doesn't like it when I video him. I think that part of it is he knows when I'm talking about his autism. And there are other things too that I realize that he knows when we're talking about it. And to a certain extent, I kind of always figured that, but it's just become more and more obvious that he doesn't like us to talk about him or his issues. And that's normal for anyone, I understand. So I will rarely include him in videos anymore, but I will tell you stories about what's going on with him. And it's frustrating. And today, what I really want to focus in on is those parents, moms in particular, simply because as a woman I can relate to the mom, but parents of any child of any age with autism, but especially those who are young adults or adults, older adults. As the parents age, if you have chosen to keep your child in your home, as we have, you go through so many different emotions, different challenges. And for me, my son is your typical 30-year-old man. He has the same desires and temperaments and, just the same traits as most 30-year-olds would. The difference is it's with the behavior, maturity, and conversation interactive ability of like a 2 or 3-year-old. So he's not, I think intellectually he's close to his age. There are things that he obviously is kind of on the normal scale for, but when it comes to speech, when it comes to communication and comprehension of certain concepts, he is not even at a toddler status, really. Things like what, when, where, who, he doesn't understand those concepts. And no matter how many times you try to engage with him and get him to understand those concepts, it seems like he just can't grasp it. So when you say, "What did you do today?" it takes him several times of you saying it a different way to understand, oh, I did this. And half the time, he'll just pull something up that he's done before. He won't even tell you what he did today. So when he comes home from his day program, I might say, what'd you guys do today? What did you do at your day program today? And he'll always repeat the same thing. It's like if I say, so what'd you do at your dad's this weekend? It's always the same, sit in the spa. Well, I know that there are times they're not sitting in the spa, especially in the middle of summer. I doubt they even turn the spa on, but that's his standard answer. So he uses a lot of Gestalt and echolalic language skills, which makes it difficult to pull that into a conversation sometimes. Sometimes it seems like it's amazing because he's making up his own types of words for things. He's associating things in the Gestalt manner to make his own language, so to speak. And we understand it. And of course, it's something that is very helpful in communication and obviously is useful for him in learning how to communicate. But as I said, there are certain things he doesn't quite get. So it's a little frustrating to try and communicate with him in a meaningful and productive way if he can't understand those concepts. And so that's something to consider. If you have a nonverbal or very limited verbal child, you can relate to what I'm saying. Some children with autism have decent communication skills. They can pretty much carry on a normal conversation, but then they have the behavior traits and maybe too much of a naive understanding of the world, so they're not safe. And those children may, as adults, still need at least some level of care. But the nonverbal, where you're not even sure how much they understand, you're not even sure. They don't tell you. Jason doesn't tell me when he's hurt. He doesn't, sometimes if he's sick, he'll let me know. But he doesn't just think, oh, my foot hurts, I need to tell mom. That doesn't register for him. So if he's hurting, I don't know unless I ask him. And then sometimes he might say yes, and he might point to a spot, but I'm not even sure if it really does hurt, because a lot of times, since he hits himself, he'll hit himself, and then when I say, does something hurt, wanting to know, are you hitting because something hurts, because you don't feel good, because you're mad, what's the deal? He can't really give me a reason. He'll repeat the same thing I said, the last thing I said, he'll repeat it, or he'll say, it hurts, where he hit himself. So these are the struggles, and I think relatives, school staff, doctors, anybody that's involved in our child's life, if they've never been around autism, they haven't really studied it, or they really don't know the mechanics of how it works on a day-to-day basis, they're not going to really be able to give advice that's useful. That's what I've found. I rarely get useful advice from anybody that calls himself an expert. And that's frustrating, because as a parent, you're looking for anything you can grasp onto that might help you understand your child and make life easier for them and for you. Because essentially, how do I want to say this? The more frustrated my child is, the more difficult my day is. And so it becomes this cycle. And the experts will say, well, if you keep them busy, then they will be less aggressive. They'll have fewer inappropriate sexual behavior outbursts, on and on and on. Okay, I get that. With any typical child, that's true. With any typical person, that's true. If I'm frustrated or angry and I do a quick ride on my bike, I might calm myself down. If my son is upset and I had a pool and I made him go swim laps, yeah, that would work. I don't have a pool. He won't get on the bike. I can force him to get on the bike, which that's laughable because I can't, because he's 6'2" and I'm 5'1", and he would easily overpower me if I decided to try and make him do anything. And again, he's 30 years old. Do I make him do what I want him to do? Or do I follow his lead and allow him to do what he wants to do? And there's several camps on that too, because you've got all of the sort of progressive wisdom in the world of disabilities is that they need to have as much autonomy and independence as possible. Okay, they need to make their own decisions. Self-advocates. Okay, but when you have a child like my son that is self-abusive, aggressive, and becomes extremely agitated or has anxiety so bad that the only way to soothe it is for him to masturbate, what do you do? And if I can't make him exercise, I can't exactly calm those things down. So this is where we are. And I'm reaching out today, not trying to make anyone feel sorry for me or try to relate to me or anything. I just want parents that are going through the same thing I am to know you're not alone. And it is a battle. It's a long, challenging battle to keep your child in your home. And it's such a personal family decision to make, to do that. And that's a decision we've made, and we're sticking to it. I'm his primary caretaker at this point. And so that is, whenever he's home, fortunately, when my husband's home, he's very helpful with Jace. And Mike is Jason's stepfather, but is such a powerful force as a father figure. They really click well. In fact, the only reason I had time to do this video is because Mike has Jason out in the yard working, helping him trim bushes and things like that. Mike's very good with him in that way, has him do certain work. I do the same. He helps me fold clothes. He helps me do certain house chores, laundry. He'll whenever we have to wash the bedding, he helps me with that. So I too have him do things with me. We go do the shopping together. I let him have some decisions in the shopping. He pushes the cart. You know, so he has an enriched life, but it's still not enough for him. So he's constantly seeking other types of ways to soothe his anxiety, or probably to stimulate some kind of sensory need. And you do get tired. You get tired mentally, physically, because it's constant. And with Jace, it's constant chattering. And you don't want to tell him to be quiet because you want to encourage them to talk. But with Jace, it's sometimes almost seems like he's doing it purposefully to get a rise out of me versus any other reason for the effort. So if he is focused on when he's going to get his next Diet Coke, which is his addiction, really, it's Diet Coke, yes. Diet Coke, yes. Over and over and over and over, nonstop, until you address him in some way. And I'll say over and over again, after lunch, yes, after lunch, yes, after lunch. But he'll keep on relentlessly. It's almost like he's trying to wear me down. I try really hard not to ever let him wear me down because I don't want him to feel like that's an effective tool. But every day is made up of the carrot, you know, do a good job so you can have this, or the loss of something. If you do that again, you're not going to get this. So I think anyone who doesn't have a child with autism out there that is watching videos like mine, please know that we understand everything. We understand your heart, and we know that everyone wants to be helpful. But until you have to live it for more than a couple of days, when we come back with a response to you that sounds like an excuse, or sounds like we're just whining, or sounds like we're just not willing to do it, or laziness, whatever, you're wrong. You are wrong. We come back with responses because we know what we live through every day. Doesn't mean you should stop making suggestions, but just help us to feel okay with the decisions we make, because it's a hard road. It's a hard road. What you see when you're around us is nothing compared to what we go through every day. And there are good days and bad days, and there are good phases and bad phases. I will say that in some ways, it's much easier to parent my son now that he's older. He communicates well enough that I can generally get him to comply with things, to calm down when he's upset. But as I said, it's exhausting. It's especially as you age. And your dreams of everything that you thought your retirement would be, or everything you thought your child would be, you have to completely push them away, which is why this is called Autism Life's Little Detour, because it is a detour. You're on a road, you know, you think you know what your life's going to be like, and then suddenly you are having to detour and go a different route. That's okay. Life does that. That's what gives us, life has to challenge us in order to enjoy the good things. And it also builds resilience and problem-solving skills, right? When you have to go through life with challenges such as this. But I guess I'm just asking for those of you out there who know someone with autism or a parent that may be having a difficult time, just recognize that their battle is never over. So while, get counseling, talk, get it off your chest, all of those things, let me give you a break one day, come over and I'll watch your son while you go shopping. All of those things are wonderful and helpful, but it's not going to cure anything. It's not going to cure them, and it's not going to cure the parent. It's not going to help the parent's mental health, other than for that moment. But it's not because you aren't trying. It's because we can't change our circumstance. I know for me, I don't want to change my circumstance. This is the only thing that I can do to keep my son safe and happy, is to be with him, be his care provider. All of the families involved with him, his dad, his stepdad, all the families involved, many siblings. But at the end of the day, it's my job to keep him healthy and happy. And I am very grateful for all the help I have, and I'm grateful for my son, but I'm also exhausted. And there's nothing anyone can do about that, because it's mental exhaustion. Taking a nap won't fix that. Mental exhaustion is when you just aren't sure how you're going to keep going. But with the way my brain works, the minute I think about that, then I think about, but what would everyone do if you weren't here? What would Jason do if you weren't here? How would that throw everybody's life into a big chaotic mess? So the mom duty kicks in, and you say, well, you just got to trudge along. Just got to put on your big girl pants and do it. Yes, and so we do. And in the meantime, the world seems to make it harder and harder and harder for us parents to even begin to feel like we're making a difference in our kids' life. Financially, we're limited. There's just so many challenges and limitations. So we need your forgiveness, we need your understanding, and we need your continued support and patience. Understanding and patience, probably the two most important, because we know we sound like we whine, and we know unless you are down in the trenches with us doing this, you can't possibly understand, and that's okay. I'm lucky that and grateful that Jason is healthy. He doesn't have major health issues. Other than his lack of communication skills, he really is a pretty typical 30-year-old man. I'm not even sure what this channel is any good for anymore, other than letting other parents know that you're not alone. But like I said, I don't know how helpful that is, because I'll watch a video like this and I'll just cry and feel worse. When you can relate to it so much that the empathy makes your heart burst. Is it healthy to watch it? I don't know. So I'm not even sure if I should continue with these videos. But if you need to vent and you need to tell your story, feel free to do so in the comment section. Feel free to do that, because we all need to vent. And if you comment, I will definitely read it. So I'm not sure I can find an uplifting good note to end this on, because today is a bad day and I'm just not feeling it. But I did want to give an honest, heartfelt update in case anybody's wondering, or in case anybody cares, to let you know how our adventure is going. So thank you for watching, and maybe we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.